Erik Ten Hag has come out and really spoken about how optimistic he is to really sign big players in the summer of 2024 and how United is still very attractive. People have come out to really pour us down that we aren't an attractive club because you're into the Champions League, and he says, no way, that's not true. He has also gone ahead to commend the young stars. Manchester United has gone ahead to actually coming through and the position in which the club is in. That is Erik Ten Hag. And good morning, welcome to the United Matters channel. How are you guys and where you're watching us from? I go by the names of Rock and David. Smash the like button, comment and share. If you're only watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Rock and David is my name, and hope you guys are really having fun wherever you are. This is the channel that brings you strictly Man United, and you know it's today when the Premier League comes to an end. But for Man United, it won't be over until next Sunday or next weekend. I think it's going to be a Saturday when we play against the side of, I think it's going to be a Saturday when we play Man City in the FA Cup final to see whether we can obviously go into the UEFA Europa League. How many likes? 300 likes. Smash on this video and continue to subscribe, because you know the goal is hitting 18,000 subscribers. Before we hit 18, we have to first hit 17,300 subscribers. Thank you. Now, we thank God for the gift of life. Today is a Sunday. Christians, I know they are flocking to churches, and to the Muslims, please and please and please, we thank God for the gift. We thank Allah for the gift of life, and Barakallahu fikum. And obviously, let's start it off with this. Ten Hag has said, embarrassing to play in the Conference League. Was asked, he said, I never think negatively. We have two opportunities to qualify for Europe. We have to go for it. So, Ten Hag is not ruling out that we can play in the UEFA Europa League. We have two opportunities to play in Europe. The first opportunity comes in through when you're playing against a side called Brighton, that is today. And if we win and maybe Newcastle fails to see to it that they really get points from Brentford, then they'll see themselves out and United will go to the Conference League. Then, if we go to the Conference League, then we'll have to play on Sunday. We've got to put ourselves in a better position to qualify for the UEFA Europa League if at all we beat Man City in the final, of which I think it's really possible. It's really possible, and I think the sweetest revenge will be going to Wembley and obviously beat Man City in the FA Cup final. That is it. That's what I really believe, and I'm not moved by City having its stars. When I saw Rafael Varane, Lindelof, Lisandro Martinez, Anton Martial all back in training, I was like, everything is now possible. Everything is now possible. You line up well with Varane and Lisandro Martinez in that central defense alongside Bissaka and Dallo, Casemiro, Kobe Mainoo, Bruno Fernandes, Ahmad, name it. I tell you, United can really go ahead to smash the side of City. Why? In that side, am I trying to do the preview earlier? But let me try to throw into this hint. When you look at that side that played against Man City, you know, in the FA Cup final of last year, I think we were a little bit shite and our creativity was not all that great. But you've gone ahead to see to it that we've gone ahead to add in another player known as Kobe Mainoo, whose creativity is really high up there. Then Amad Diallo, he's another player that has gone ahead to obviously do the needful. You remember, in that game, Ahmad was still at Sunderland. Kobe Mainoo was not in this team. The other player that I think has gone ahead to improve from what he did last year is Alejandro Garnacho, who came off the bench from the injury that he had really suffered from that scissor tackle from Kyle Walter something, who was a right back for Southampton. You remember that very well, right? So I don't want to come here and tell you that we are not a better side from what we are, you know, and Erik Ten Hag is going to obviously answer it, because the quality of the club is really important. And I tell you, we can go and really beat Man City. I tell you, we can go and really beat Man City at Wembley. Though everyone will be saying Man City are really favorites, but I tell you this is a different City side that to beat us in the final They required 2 moments of brilliancy coming in through from their I think from their captain, that is Ika Gundogan, you understand? And he pulled out 2 moments of brilliancy. The goal is scored in 15 seconds, and that hit that he scores in the second half to really get that game from level terms. And I tell you, they are not the team they were last season. If at all you saw how they played, we played them at the Emirates, at the Etihad, at their stadium, and we managed to hold them to a 1 goal down, for 56 minutes when they really had like 45,000 people supporting them. How is it going to be at Wembley, where we are going to be sharing the funds and we are going to be having more and more players back? So that is going to come in through on Friday as I analyze that game of football of the FA Cup finale. Now, let's obviously go on to another talk from Erik ten Hag, and this is the gist of the video. Ten Hag says attracting players. He was asked on attracting players with the UEFA Europa League, All Conference League. He said, Man United is a very attractive club for any player. Of course, you want to play at a high level, but Manchester United is a very attractive club for all players. Now, I've seen people come out and try to sell their ignorance, right? I'm sorry to say, if at all I've gone ahead to offend you, they've gone ahead to sell their ignorance that United is not attractive. I tell you, what makes a club attractive? It's not its performances. Because I can give you a club like Newcastle. Why would Newcastle take Steve Bootman? Why would Newcastle have Anthony Gordon? Why would Newcastle have Alexandra Isak? Why is it that Bruno Guimaraes went to Newcastle? Ask yourself those questions. You understand? McAllister. Last summer, Arsenal and Man United were into the Champions League. Liverpool was playing the UEFA Europa League. Liverpool convinced him to play for them, and he came in through to put in a shift for the side of Liverpool. So let no one lie to you that it's all about you being in the Champions League most of the times. I tell you, it's all about the board. You know, because this deal of McAllister looks like it was being worked upon after the World Cup, you know, and McAllister had already gone ahead to be convinced that I'm going to join the club of Liverpool. You understand? So that's the problem that people tend to really get when they're analyzing such things. Secondly, the vision of the club. You get? The vision of the club. You understand? If the board meets with the player's entourage, they'll show him the plan that you are the player we want. We are going to play you in such and such a position, and don't really go anywhere. They'll try to convince him. Even the manager, the type of manager they have, you know, at Manchester United, Erik ten Hag, out of, I think, the 8 signings, he has gone ahead to really sign permanently. I think one has gone ahead to disappoint, and that is none other than Anthony. But Onana, let's start off from the ones you brought in. Malacia, Casemiro, Lisandro Martinez. Let's even add Eriksson, though he was a free purchase. Eriksson, you get? Those are the 4 players he signed out of the 5 in the first season. They went ahead to perform very well. And the second lap, he has brought in Onana, Rasmus Højlund, Mason Mount, right? Bendael, Atil, you know, Amrabat on loan. So he has signed 8 players on a permanent, and I believe only one has gone ahead not to look good for 2 seasons. Because for Mason Mount, to really judge his success rate, it will need me to obviously look through next season on whether he's going to be injury prone or not. But the success rate of the signings of Erik ten Hag is really at 90%. And a player that enters, you look and say, all right, this manager knows what he's doing, because look at the players that's going to hit to bring in the club of Man United. Most of them have been successful, meaning that he's a man who keeps his word. I'm not going to be a one-off. I'll come in through and will represent. So there are very many factors that attract people to the club. And United, way back, because they had an incompetent board, they used money, you know, to really see to it that they outcompete their competitors to really win hearts of those players. And right now, it's something different. We are having a board that knows exactly what to do. Negotiate a deal. If you're overpriced, if a player needs more money, they will let that player go, like Man City did to Harry Maguire, Jorginho, and so on and so forth, to go to other teams. But the replacements they brought in through Diaz for Maguire and Rodri, Cascante at Man City, they are looking better than the other two players. So that's what they call a competent board, that they have to keep their stance and they'll be looking at different players altogether. Like, for example, if you're looking in for Olise and he's like, I want more money, you are not in the Champions League, Arsenal wants me in the Champions League, they'll let him please go to where you want to go. But for us here at Man United, we are willing to offer you this and we're willing to make you our main starter, provided you prove that you're really a very good player. So I think we are still an attractive club, and this is Manchester United, the most supported club in the world, and players outside there are yearning to get a chance to play at Man United. And I tell you what, if we've been lulling in players at Man United with money without a competent board, that means we have the money and the competent board is here and they only dish it to a player who is really worth it. What does that send into your brain? It sends a message that we are here to compete and we are still very competitive. Not so? So that is Erik ten Hag for you. And I like the way sometimes Erik ten Hag replies to questions being posed to him by journalists. The other one was all about whether the club is in a better position than 12 months ago. He said, when you look at the results, you could say no, but we know the reasons. I would say yes, because we have more players, we have more quality players in the group, and from this point of view, yes. So I will let you know that Ten Hag is going to have to give out an answer that I believe is right. Most people come out to really gauge the success of the club onto winning trophies and where it's going to end the season from. No manager can operate, with almost 70 injuries. You get this season, you get. I just want to really show you Man City number of injuries, they've gonna have to really gauge this season. You get. I think when you look at their list, Kevin De Bruyne was the most injured player, and contributed to 75%. You get. So they've not had even like 30 injuries in a season, you understand? But Man United has had close to 60, 70, and the average number is supposed to be 20, 25 for any club. So look at Man United with 70 injuries and you judge them. So you judge them to that ratio and come out and really give out what we call an alternative or objective answer. So for me, the biggest positive is that maybe these injuries have gone ahead to see to it that they've given time for players, the youngsters, to come here and really thrive. Garnacho, Amadi Diallo, Kobe Mainoo, Kambuala, Rasmus Højlund. Those players have gone ahead to build a bond of young stars that can make it the starting 11 of Man United, and I expect all 4 of those to start in the game of Man United when you're playing against Brighton today. And that crop of players is really going to be influential into what we are going in through that is next season. And that's why Ten Hag is telling we have more quality into that squad. And he's right. And I'm one of those who believes that if at all we sign in 2 central defenders, 1 right back, then you bring in Olise and a center forward, 5 players in, I tell you what, I believe we can come up and really have a very good season, because Ten Hag has gone ahead to really change this squad to see to it that he gets in more youngsters who can adjust easily to his training sessions, and their bodies are really still young. They are really flexible, other than these players who have gone ahead to be really stagnant for a very long time, and they cannot really adjust. That's why you see to it that the players that have gone ahead to be least injured are the young ones, you get. But most players that have gone ahead to see themselves injured are the old ones, you get, meaning that their bodies cannot adjust to what the manager is really training them. You see to it that even Harry Maguire, who was not an injury prone player, when Eric Ten Hag came in here and really elevated the levels of training sessions at Man United, he had to obviously find himself injured. So I agree with Eric Ten Hag. The results don't show that, but we all know that Manchester United is really one of those clubs that has gone ahead to add more quality to the squad through Kobe Mainoo, Rasmus Højlund, Amad Diallo, Garnacho, Kambuala, and very many others. The youngsters, the Danny Ings of this world. Look at how Whitley is coming into the team of Man United. Then he said, I think we have developed some young players with great potential who can really improve the quality of our squad. With established and experienced players, they can form a very good mix and make a very good squad. So that is it. It's the same thing I've been explaining here. Next season, you'll be here knowing that Amad Diallo, Rasmus Højlund, Garnacho, Kobe Mainoo get into that starting 11 of Man United on any day. And I would love to say to it that Amad Diallo continues to elevate his game, and you have to really get to know that he's going to elevate because he has just gone ahead to make 2 starts. By the end of the season, he would have gone ahead to make like 4 starts. He goes to the holidays, maybe play a little bit for Ivory Coast, the African champions, into what we call the World Cup qualifiers, and then returns in the beginning of the month of July. In the preseason, we pray to it that he doesn't really get injured like he did last time. I tell you, he's going to have a very good season. In 2 games, he has 1 goal and 1 assist. That is Amad Diallo. And I tell you, if he finds himself with a proper preseason, he's going to start into that position at Old Trafford, and he's going to be one of the youngsters. And I want Amad to thrive as Garnacho also improves his game, such that Rashford struggles to get into that team. It's one of the reasons as to why I think if you're Manchester United, you should sell Marcus Rashford. Why? Garnacho is going to become a better and better player. If you get in Olise at Man United and he's competing with Amad Diallo, that means there is no chance that Garnacho will be playing off the right again. You'll have to see him compete with Marcus Rashford on the left. And if at all you are asked who offers more on the left, it's Alejandro Garnacho. And Rashford will have to fight for that position. So these youngsters that have gone ahead to come in through have gone ahead to really help us a little bit, that they are really selfless and they are really having a big heart for the club, and they're going to take us to the dream world as a club of Man United. That's what I really love about them, and I love them die. As the manager says, we mix them with the big stars, experienced players. We'll be good to go. You get? So that's what we love about this club, and I know most of you are really having a lot of complaints and your reservations, but I tell you, every time they're going to be a very huge turnaround, you need to obviously admit that the youngsters should take you where you are. I remember those days when Arteta came in through and built his team on Emile Smith-Rowe, Martinelli, Bukayo Saka, right? And he went in and brought in Thomas Partey, I think by the time he was 25. He brought in Gabriel Magalhaes by the time he was 21 years of age. Then Benjamin White, he was like 23 years of age. And then he brought in Tomiyasu. He was, 22, 23? And he signed other players and mixed them into the team that had the likes of Aubameyang, Granit Xhaka, Lacazette, and those were the experienced players by then at Arsenal. Now, look at how the players he brought in when they're young have gone ahead to obviously outgrow themselves into players that are really superstars. People forget that by the time Odegaard came here at Arsenal, it was 2021. You get in January, and he was, is it 21, 22 years of age? I think he was 22, 21, 22. Now he's 25. 4 years later, look at what he has gone ahead to become. One of the most important players that was nominated even for the player of the season for the second time in a row. You understand? Look at Saka, Martinelli. You understand? If you take that blueprint at Arsenal and you bring it at Man United, you see to it that a decision has to be taken to keep Erik ten Hag here, and you're going to see lots of things happening the better way in there for you. I call upon for your reactions into the comment section below on whether you agree with Erik ten Hag that United is still attractive and we are going to sign big players this summer. May the living to God bless you abundantly. Rokan David is my name. To the Muslims, Barakallahu fikum. We sign out for now. See you later. Happy Sunday. And today is the last day of the Premier League season. And who do you think is going to win the trophy? Is it Man City or Arsenal? Can Moyes shock the side of Man City? Because he also has a little bit of a grudge with them, as he has that attachment to Man United. He once managed Man United. Can he really keep us into that record of us and Man City being the only two teams that have gone here to win a trophy 3 times, for Man City to surpass against us to make it 4? I'm out.